go. All right, so I read a quote this morning that I want to read to you. I know Paula knows about this, but there's this website called Grateful Living, and you can sign up for their daily a quote to kind of come into your inbox every day of inspiration. And it's so nice because I don't know about you, but you wake up in the morning and once you get to your phone, whenever that is, there's usually something in the news in your email, and then all of a sudden your good mood that you might have woken up with starts to turn sour or whatever the kind of energy that happens to you when you read the news. Um, and it's nice to have a counterbalance of something that's very hopeful and just reflective or introspective for you to pause for a moment and contemplate how to go about your day today that might help you serve yourself and the world a little bit better and kind of have a change of perspective. So I really enjoy it, and it's easy to sign up for it if you're interested. It's just Grateful Living. Um, okay, so this is the quote. Andrea Gibson is, I don't know who that is, but this is her quote. In a culture that pushes us to focus not on what we can give, but on what we can take, what we tend to take is everything for granted. And I think we can all, relate to this, especially in our culture. Many of you know Jim just got back from Peru doing some work with very impoverished people in Peru. And I think, you can't go to another country without having a turnaround and looking at our American culture in a new light. And we have so much. And we just take so much for granted. We take our freedom for granted. We take our right to speak out for granted. We take all the wealth that we have and the resources that we have for granted, and so many other things. So, when we begin our practice today, let's try to kind of hone that down to the individual level of you, to kind of recognize, even just physically, what we take for granted. We all woke up and got out of bed this morning, which is a feat just to be able to, turn over and put your feet on the ground and walk into the day. So, let's begin with a little bit of a meditation around gratitude. Gratitude is such a gift for our well being. So many studies, as I'm sure you all have known, around how much gratitude can help our well being on so many levels. So let's drop our awareness into our body to begin. Feel a sense of comfort in your posture. Change your posture, stand up, lie down, sit up, whatever is comfortable for you. And then, if you can, go ahead, either gaze upon something softly or close your eyes so that you have a capacity to turn the attention, your inner eye on, turn the attention inward. And first, just come to know your breath. So much of the day we don't pay attention to our breath, and that's great that we don't have to. But let's take a moment to just pay attention. And maybe we can start noticing how much we take our breath for granted. So enjoy every bit of the breath. Let your belly go a bit so your diaphragm is nice and soft, receptive and mobile. And allow your breath to come into. Try not to gulp it in or push it in or prod it, but just accept and welcome. And as you breathe out, same. Can you just release without having to push or force? Allow yourself to notice and feel so grateful for this just gentle flow of rhythm that you have in your breath. Hopefully, today your breath is nice and easy, that you're not struggling with your breathing at all. Um, and if that is the case, let's recognize how much we take the simple act of breathing for granted. So turn your mind's eye, not in a way of guilty, like, oh, I should be paying attention more, and feeling grateful more. Not like that, but just an opportunity to become aware of how rich we are because we breathe so easily. Notice what the breath does for your body, for your mind. We've done this sensing gratitude meditation before, and let's try again. So bring your hands and place them over your eyes gently. So you feel the warmth of your hands and the darkness that comes when you cover your eyes. And feel your eyeballs softly in your skull. And recognize that your vision is so much more than just your eyes, but it's also all the muscles that move your eyes and all the nerves that transmit what um, light is coming into your eyes to make sense of it. Let's just have such deep gratitude for our vision. And also deep gratitude for being able to close our eyes and also soften and turn away from vision when we need that pratyahara, that sense of kind of detaching from our senses. Enjoy the darkness here for a moment. You can bow your head in your hands if you'd like. Let your eyes feel deeply restful. And when you open them, let your gaze be soft and let's turn our attention toward our ears. Okay, bringing your hands, you might have a hard time hearing me, but bringing your hands over your ears. And again, feeling the softness and warmth of your palms. And just experience the deep sense of gratitude for all that you can hear. And the apparatus, both in the way our ears are shaped and our nerves that allow us to have good hearing, good sense of balance. Release. Take your hands now and put them over your face, entirely covering your eyes, your nose, and your mouth gently. Obviously, let yourself still have lots of room for breathing. But just get a sense of gratitude, not only for our sense of smell and our sense of taste and our sense of vision and our sense of touch as you feel your hands touching your face. But can we also have a deep sense of appreciation for the way we can express that our facial expressions, we communicate so much with each other through the ways that we manipulate our face. So let's have some deep appreciation for all the ways we are capable of expressing ourselves. And then place your hands over your throat and hum for a moment. And just have a deep appreciation for your voice, the way that you were able to communicate and express yourself because of your voice. Hum a few times. Mm. Not only are we appreciating when we do this, but we're stimulating our vagus nerve as well. So enjoy. Mm. And then bring our hands down to our heart. There, wherever you feel comfortable holding them, they can be higher than your heart or right on your heart, wherever your place is. Let's just have a moment of deep gratitude for the ways in which we love. We take for granted so much around the people that love us, the people we love. maybe more than any other relationships we take for granted, our deepest connections. Have a moment to just offer your gratitude for those that you love the most in the world. Ready? Let's release the hands. And we could go on, but through our practice today, let's just be grateful for all the ways in which we're able to move and be present with ourselves. Let's bring our hands together at our heart. Enjoy the fingertips and the palms and how they feel into their touch. Let's offer an intention to recognize how much we have and to uh, open ourselves to not taking this for granted, to recognize our blessings. Let's release the hands. And let's come on to our back and find your way into your physical practice. All right. So as you stretch out and lengthen on your back, such a beautiful thing to just get horizontal for a moment. So let's enjoy this. And stretch your arms overhead and just feel that nice awakening stretch of reaching one side and reaching the other side, and enjoy what your body can do. You can lift your arms overhead. If you can lift your arms overhead, let's be thankful. If you can move your hips and your back, let's be thankful. And then draw your knees in. And sometimes appreciation doesn't have to be, kind of repeating in your head or out loud, I'm thankful for this, or I appreciate that. But see if you can sense into the sensation of gratitude, the sensation of appreciation. And notice the shifting of mindset and perspective that just living in the sensation of appreciation can give you. So let's circle the knees, rolling in one direction, paying attention. How does your body feel? Let's circle the other way. And circling a third way, we're opening up our joints. And look at what your hips can do. Try to stay with the sensations in your body. Stay with the breath. Right knee into your chest, left leg on the ground, and feel the toes wiggle and swish. Feel the ankles move and sway. Maybe you've got some clicks or some pops. Whatever you're feeling, let's just be so grateful that we can move our feet and move our toes. Switch sides, left knee in, right leg long on the ground, and feel free to give a good squeeze or a light squeeze or whatever your body's wanting today. Again, feeling any movement of the ankles that you can kind of wake up and enliven in your body. Then release that knee, stretch out to a star, reaching open in your body. Exhale, draw the knees into your chest. Twice more, opening up to a big star on the ground. And then exhale. I get it. One more time. Feeling that big open space. And as your exhale comes, knees in toward your chest. Let's go ahead and roll onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. First, feel the ground. Feel the grounding of the ground. We have this sense of yielding our hands and our feet. And let's start to move your spine. Maybe you want to start with some cat-cows. Maybe there's a different way you want to move your spine to begin. It doesn't matter. Just allow your awareness to come into gaining a little mobility and a little freedom in between your vertebrae. So how much can you articulate all those little joints in your spine? Notice your breath. And also notice how your spine relates with other joints and other bones. Okay, so can you feel where your ribs connect to your vertebrae? Can you feel where your pelvic bones connect to your sacrum? Can you feel the base of your occiput where your skull connects to your vertebrae? All right, so moving any way you want. You can wag tails, you can do cat-cows, you can circle your ribs, you can move around any way you want to move around. Sometimes when things feel creaky or you're like, oh, I'm stiff or something's uncomfortable, and you find yourself becoming gently more pliable through your practice, and you just be grateful for your body's mobility in whatever way it's showing up today. All right, when you're ready, stretch back towards child's pose. Okay, walk your knees apart or close, however you like to be in child's pose, and let your back open up. And feel free to move a little bit while you're here. Maybe you want to kind of rock left and right a little bit. What feels good for your pelvis, your hips, your back? Eventually finding some stillness and walk the hands strongly forward. So you have a big, beautiful stretch through your sides, through your shoulders, even into your hands. And walk the hands over to one side so you drop some weight into your pelvis and open up your ribs and take advantage of the space to breathe well. And come back over to the other side and feel that reach here. A big breath into those ribs. And come back up onto all fours and feel some movement, wagging your tail. Maybe movement's coming a little more deeply now. Maybe your spine is starting to feel warmed up where there's a little bit more available. Let's turn this into a deep twist. Left arm reaching up to the sky. Open your chest a moment and then drop that shoulder down and let your body twist. And as you do this, remember that we're breathing the whole way through. Only go as far as your body says go. Head is heavy. Relax your neck and let your eyes gaze down. Putting up your shoulder. However you want to be in this posture, find your way. Inhale, reach that arm all the way up, hand down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Lift that arm up high to the sky. Drop the shoulder down, twisting here. Full breaths. A deep inhale, a deep full exhale. Letting that shoulder open in whatever way feels right to your body. Inhale, reach that arm all the way back up in the air, hand down onto the ground. Curl your toes under. Stretch back towards child's pose with your toes curled under, so it won't be the same kind of posture, but let the bottom of your feet open up. See if you can spread through the bones, across the toes, across the toe beds, across the middle of the feet, even across the heel. And then release that and give your feet a little smack to release that from your feet. And then go ahead and lift to dog pose. Opening up, feeling this extension in your body. Take your time. Maybe you want to pedal your feet here and drop one heel down and then the other. Maybe you want to move your hips around. Maybe you want to move your hands or your head or your shoulders around. So let this pose be all about kind of welcoming your body, getting to know what's tight, what's feeling good today, where do I have some work to do, where do I have some celebration? All right, so as you find a little more stillness, you can still be moving. You don't have to be totally still, but try to hone into that yield, the giving into the earth, the rebound through your body. Focus on your breath. And then we'll walk our feet forward and come to Uttanasana, folding deeply.
Let your knees bend as much as you want. Good time to grab some blocks if you want them. Inhale for a halfway lift, getting long and extended. Maybe pedal your feet here in a halfway lift. So we drop one heel and then drop the other heel. And then relax and melt again, folding deeply. Inhale, rising all the way up. We've been down for a bit, so if you get dizzy, always take a moment to squeeze to the midline if you need it. Reaching the arms up to the sky, maybe a little leaning back, maybe a little cactus. What do your shoulders want right now? Inhale, reaching up, and then a big swan dive forward, folding deep. A halfway lift. Melt and fold again. Step back to dog pose one more time. Feeling that extension in the body, pedaling your feet again, getting those calves to open up. See what it feels like to kind of move through your heels. Great. Lift your heart toward your hips, root into your hands evenly and well. Feel the crescent moon between your index finger and your thumbs. Find some weight. And then walk your feet forward again. Come to Uttanasana. Notice second time around, is anything changing? Inhale for a halfway lift. Open up through your spine. Exhale, melting and folding. Rising all the way up. Arms coming to the sky. This time, trace down through the center of your body. Maybe touch through your forehead, touch your nose, touch your lips, touch your heart, all the places we kind of communed with earlier. A big breath, hands to your heart, pause here. Unlock your knees. Now, reaching upward. Exhale, folding forward. Notice your body loosening up a little bit, hopefully. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Step back to a dog pose. Feeling into that length again. Third time around. How is your posture changing? Can you appreciate what you're feeling? Inhale, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself very steady. Shoulders over your wrists. Feel into the integrity of your center body. Stretch your heels back. Let your inner thighs lift up slightly toward the sky. Find your breath traveling into your rib cage. When you're ready, come down to the ground. Belly down, a couple of shoulder rolls. Feel that freedom in your shoulders and your neck. Inhale, cobra pose. Remember, you don't have to go super high. It can be a subtle thing, your cobra poses. Exhale, down you go. One more time. Feel into the openness of the front body. Maybe that little bit of strength in the back of your body feels really good. Come up onto all fours. Move your spine around a little bit and lift to a dog pose. And as you do, again, fourth time around, we do a lot of dog poses in our practice. So notice what's happening each time you come across a dog pose. Inhale, lift your right leg up in the air, and we're gonna come forward to a lunge. Placing your right foot down and bend your knee. All right, so open up through your heart. Now we get to feel into the hip flexors a little bit. We haven't touched into them very much yet. Let's feel into the openness of our hamstrings as we straighten our leg and the openness of our hip flexor as we bend. Breathing deeply. Notice not only how nice it is to breathe, but how nice it is to breathe and move, being aware, presence in your body. Can we have gratitude just for the presence in our body? Put your knee down onto the ground, your back knee down onto the ground. Just open up into that hip flexor a little bit more. Feel the heart lift and lengthen. Root into your feet well, or your front foot, I should say, well. Rising up, bringing your arms to the sky. So notice this pose is different when our knee is on the ground. And of course, if your knee is unhappy, lift your knee up and do a crescent lunge. Feel that extension. And let's take both arms and arc over to the right a little bit. Notice if you're getting very crunchy in the right side body. And then turn your torso and stretch both arms forward and bring them down toward the ground and bow your head. Open up that hip flexor a little bit more. Coming back up, reaching the arms to the sky, and we'll find a deeper twist. Elbow or forearm on your knee, opening up to the right. Hug to the midline with your legs. Feel that hip flexor lengthen. A little torsion of the twist, helping your psoas open in a different way. And then exhale and release your hands down. Bring your front foot back to child's pose. Notice the difference between your two hips right now. Having kind of, had a lot of work with that one hip and not the same with the other. See if you can just let compression help you to reorganize. Sometimes when we have that deep hip flexor stretching, when we come back into flexion, it takes a moment to settle. Okay, let's switch sides. So now we're going to bring our left foot in front. Back knee, right knee is down onto the ground. We're going to lift your knee up off the ground and feel a full lunge. Extending through your body here. Let's start to move. Bending and straightening the front knee, bowing the head. Remember that our yoga practice, the biggest and best thing we can be is present. Okay, so it doesn't matter what poses you're doing. If you can breathe and be fully aware of yourself in this moment, these are the main gifts. There's so many gifts, but these are two of the big ones that we get. Sense of being aware and present with our breath and with our present moment awareness of our body, mind in body. Place your knee down onto the ground. Let's open up into this stretch of this side of the hip flexor. Okay. Feeling that extension, and notice if you tend to fall, if you're a collapser, press your front foot into the ground, hug to the midline with your inner thighs so you have some stability and support to help you open up your hip flexor. Lift your heart. Find your breath. Inhale, arms coming up to the sky. Notice if your floating ribs jut out. See if you can integrate into the center body. Keep pressing that front foot down. And a little bit of both sides. This is different. A lot of times when we do this, we put one hand down, both sides arcing over. Notice the change of your strength pattern. And then we're going to turn toward the left leg, lean forward a little bit, and maybe bring your hands down and just bow onto that neck. Inhale, coming back up, back to center, and let's more fully twist. Forearm or elbow on your left knee, lengthen upward with your spine, twisting with the breath, hugging to the midline, feeling the roots of your feet. How's the breath? And coming back round. Bring that front foot back, child's pose one more time. Notice maybe things feel a little more balanced because you've done the same thing now with both sides. Feel free to rock a little bit. Feel free to be still. I'm going to slide forward. Come on to your belly. Let's come into Sphinx pose, forearms in front of you, and lift up and open through your heart. Feel that extension, feel the heart expand. And then exhale and lower back down. We're going to reach back with our left hand to grab your left foot. If this is too much, you can roll over onto your right side and do the quad stretch on your side. You can keep your head down on your forearm, your right forearm, or you can lift your head a little bit. Try not to strain your neck. Pull your heel toward your buttocks, only to the place where your quads and knee can accept. Tailbone toward your knees, pubic bone toward your belly button. Press your thigh a little bit into the ground, just a little bit. See if you can pull your foot toward your hand and then release. You pull your foot toward your hand And then release, and just have a couple of moments of your ankle moving into your hand to get that quad to flex, and then release. All right, and then relax that. And let's go ahead and switch sides. Left arm in front of you. Grab your right hand around your right ankle. And again, you can always lie on your left side if you need to do this in a different position for your back. Tailbone down, pubic bone up. Reach your foot into your hand and then release it. Do that, just that pulsing a few times where you try to flex your quad and then you release your. You flex your quad and release. And then just come into the release and just let the fullness of the posture feel your body, feel your whole quad from your hip to your knee and spread that sensation out. And then relax. Come up on all fours. Move your spine around, wag your tail a fair amount. If you tend to be uncomfortable with back bends, we want to be very mindful to release our spine. Come up to dog pose. Long spine. Let's take our feet wide off the mat here. Feel that breath travel into your belly. Bring your feet a little closer together. We're going to start with our left leg this time. Left leg high in the air. And then exhale and bring that foot forward. Come to a lunge. Plant your back heel down. Virabhadrasana 1. Sweep your arms up. If it's comfortable, you can always do this pose with your arms down at your sides or anywhere that feels most supportive. Root into your back foot. Root into your front heel. Feel that support of your legs as you reach off your pelvis to extend upward. What is the mind-body experience of this pose? What's the energetics of this pose? Where's your breath living? We'll be so ever grateful for the ways we can move our body. Let's bring our arms out wide for a moment and then bring them down. Hands on blocks, come up. Half splits. Feel that extension and lengthen the body. Lift your left hip higher. Square things up in your pelvis. Find your breath. Deep inhale, and as you exhale, slowly Jiva squat. So one-legged squats. Go slow so you can really feel what's happening. Bow your head, and then push off your foot to straighten both your legs. Feel all the work in your hamstrings, your hips, your glutes. Move with breath. Tucking down in, relaxing your skull toward the ground. Inhale, reaching your heart forward. One more time. And step that foot all the way back again. Vira, one more time, reaching the arms up. Exhale, hands down, dog pose. Long spine here. Feel how your body feels different than when we began. Are some of the kinks working out? Are you getting a little more comfortable, a little more present? Feel your breath here. Lift your right leg straight up in the air. Deep breath. Exhale, bring your foot forward. And I hope by now that all of you know, if you need to skip some dog poses, there's so many different ways to transition in and out of these postures. So you find your way. Virabhadrasana 1. Drop your back heel down, swoop your arms up. Feel that extension in the body. Notice if your floating ribs want to push right out. See if you can integrate in and rise up. Use your legs. Root them into the ground. Look up if you can, if your balance allows. Keep your neck soft. Find your breath. Feel the strength in the back of your body, supported by your core, supported by your legs. And then release your hands down. Come up into half splits. Feeling that extension, lift your right hip higher. Feel the reach of your body. A deep inhale, and as you exhale, draw in. Jiva squat. Inhale, press legs straight. Full breaths. Exhale, draw in. Again, finding your breath, lengthening, heart open. Exhale, dropping down. Press your legs straight. This time we'll put our left foot down next to our right. Find Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. We're gonna come into chair pose. You decide whether you want your feet together or apart, whether you want to block between your knees or no. Reaching the arms up, feeling that extension. Again, filling yourself with breath. Emptying yourself of breath. Relax your neck. Pulse here a couple of times. Feel your quads. Let them be a little fiery. Full breaths in and out. All right, and then stillness. Come up onto your toes for a moment. Just seek a little bit of balance. Maybe hands can come out or down. And then we'll come back into a chair pose. Finding a twist. Deep breath. We're going right. As you exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, back up. Twisting to the left. Coming back up. We're going to go a little deeper, but first stand up onto your toes a moment again. And then we'll come down, chair pose. Bring your palms together. But if this is available, and you don't have to do this, elbow to the outer knee, palms together, twist a little deeper. Try to keep your knees together, ankles together, hips together. Notice if you want to push and your whole torso and hips into a twist, keep your hips in line with your knees. Inhale, come all the way up, tippy toes. Exhale, heels down, palms together. Let's go the other way. So elbow to the outside of your knee, and you can always modify this with a hand on the outside of the knee instead of an elbow. The important thing is to not let your hips twist over to the side. Keep your hips in line with your feet and knees. Finding breath. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Unlock it again. Last time up onto our tippy toes, feeling that extension, open up. Separate your feet and fold forward. A halfway lift. Melt and relax. Let's take our feet back, dog pose. Come into a plank. Holding yourself steady here. Feeling that integration of the center body. Breathing deeply. And then we'll put our knees down onto the ground. Before coming all the way down onto the ground on your belly, let's wag our tail a little bit. Free up your spine, any kind of moves you need to do. And we'll take bird dog. Right leg straight back behind you. The left arm out in front of you. Integrate. So when you do this, feel the work in your back, in the back of your body. There's a lot of strength that happens around your shoulder blade and along those muscles in your spine. So sense into that at the same time as integrating the core and using your legs and your hips. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, elbow and knee underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, hand and knee onto the ground. Swish around, shake your wrists if you need to. If there's anything you need to release. And then let's find the second side. So now our left leg and our right arm. All right, so as you find this posture, feel the muscles along your spine. Integrate your core, so try not to let your belly fall toward the ground. We're having the sense of integration in the center body. Use your glutes. Press your shin into the ground. Deep breath in. Exhale, elbow and knee coming underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, hand, knee down. Let's come on to our back for a moment. Okay. Find neutral here. Arms out to the side. Let's windshield wiper our knees left and right just a little bit. We're going to come into bridge pose in a moment, but first, let's do a little bit of tailbone, moving toward our skull. So ground your feet as if you were gonna go into a bridge pose, arms down at your sides. And we're just gonna drop our tail into the ground and drag it toward our shoulders. And just see if you can like light up all the muscles along your spine like a runway. And then relax and melt that. And just notice, obviously, you're starting to move toward a pelvic tilt, but instead of feeling like your pelvis is moving, try to just scrub your tailbone so that you really engage the low back muscles and the muscles along your whole spine. Those multifidus, the little muscles that connect one vertebrae to the next. Relax. Sometimes I think people get a little nervous about flexing their low back because they think that it's going to cause low back pain, but in actuality, sometimes this can be the very best thing to help you intrinsically find the back body support. All right, and then relax and release your back. Just release your pelvis, let everything relax for a moment. We're going to come into a bridge when we're ready, so ground your feet. And you can do whatever you want with your arms. If you like the posture where your arms interlace underneath you, then by all means do that. You can have your arms down at your sides, palms up, or you can have your arms like in robot arms where your elbows are bent, fingertips pointing straight toward the sky. So choose a pathway, root into the feet, climb onto the tops of the shoulders a bit, let your neck relax, and then lift your way up here. Press your arms into the ground. Root your four corners of feet into the ground. Keep your neck supple. The base of your skull should not feel strained. Feel the breath. The work of the legs. Relax and melt that down. Release your back. A little bit of windshield wipering left and right. We have 2 more back bends to go here. First, we're going to do this passively before we flip over onto our belly. But first, we're going to take a block. And I would suggest the lowest height of the block. You can always move it up from there or stack blocks if you want. But start with the low height of the block. Put it under your sacrum, across your sacrum, so you have a nice broad base. And we're going to first just try up one heel, your right heel, and just experiment and see how's that on your hip flexors, how's that on your back, and then bring that foot back in and change sides. And we're just kind of in assessment mode, like, okay, what's that height of my pelvis feeling like? Okay, and then relax your foot back. And you can choose to do that again and repeat and hang out there a little bit longer. Or if you felt like that assessment went okay, maybe 2 legs are straight. And you can have your legs a little wider, a little closer, kind of experiment. And you can also adjust where you are on the block a little bit. And then you can also adjust if you want more height. I would suggest lower to begin and then only be very cautiously lifting your pelvis more if your body likes it. This is a great stretch for your psoas, for your hip flexors. So let's just enjoy. It doesn't have to be your biggest stretch ever. Try to feel, because you're symmetrical, that you're opening up the whole front side of your pelvis. The hip flexors pass over from your vertebrae over the front of your hips to your femur bones. Just see if you can breathe into that space. Oftentimes we're very used to opening our psoas individually, like a lunge. But sometimes it's nice to feel the symmetrical web that you have. Let's repeat, or not repeat, put your feet on the ground. Okay, we're gonna just gently bring our knees. Don't bring them all the way to your chest. Just bring your knees to be over your pelvis, maybe an inch or 2 forward of your hips, but not all the way to your chest. We don't want to go into deep flexion right now, but just have a little bit of a release. Maybe your legs come straight up in the air. So you can feel the weight of your legs drop into your pelvis to help your pelvis and low back soften and release. As your feet are up there, take a look at your legs. Have so much gratitude. Look what they do for you. They carry you through your day. Isn't it amazing that we get to walk? So, I mean, truly, Sarah, you know this more than anybody here, right? Just the gift of being able to walk is, we take it for granted. There's no way we don't take it for granted. So let's just deeply appreciate these legs. Lower our legs down onto the ground. Lift your hips, get the block out of there. Maybe a little windshield wipering, left and right. Now that might be it for you. You might be like, ooh, my back's in a really good place right now. I really don't want to do any more to extend. And if that's the case, that's great. You're gonna stay right here and just find a neutral resting place. If you're ready for one more back bend, we're gonna come into, and you can also vary this as well. But we're gonna come into Dhanurasana, grabbing onto our feet. Now, if this is not available to you, you can choose a different back bend on your belly. There's so many to choose from. Okay. Take a deep breath in. We're gonna kick our feet into our hands. Pelvis is stable on the ground, open across your shoulders. Keep your neck neutral. Breathe here. When you're ready, go ahead and release your head onto your hands. Windshield wiper your knees. If you're on your back, windshield wiper your knees. Come up on all fours. Wiggle your spine around. Rolling, maybe some cat-cows, whatever feels really nice to your body. Now, after back bends, it's always good to do a twist before a forward fold to release your spine. I know the tendency is to want to jump right into a deep forward bend, but let's go into a twist first. On your back, feet on the ground, scoot your hips over to the right, knees up, drop them left. A simple twist. Open across your chest. Now, when I say simple, I don't necessarily mean easy. For some people, this is a very, very challenging pose. So support yourself in whatever way your body needs. You might need a block under your knees. You might need a block under your arm. Okay, so just see where you need help. Can your head rest? Can your hand rest? Can your knees rest? And if they aren't on the ground resting, try to prop them up so you have support. Blankets work too. Maybe you want to turn your head. Back up. Neutral pelvis. Pause here for a moment. All right, and then we're going to lift your hips, scoot them over to the side, drop your knees down, find your breath. Make sure you feel as supported as you need. Find your breath. All right, and then when you're ready, lift your knees back up. Neutral pelvis again. Maybe it might feel good to lift your hips and give them a shake.
Maybe it might feel good to come onto all fours and let your whole spine shake.
Maybe you can just give yourself a moment to intuitively figure out what's needed to let my spine kind of find its neutral space before we come into some forward bending. Okay, so just see what that neutralizing feels like to you.
Then when you're ready, grab your strap. Onto your back one more time. Right knee into your chest. Left leg on the ground. Lift your right leg up. Your left leg does not have to be on the ground. If you want to put your left foot on the ground, whatever's going to be nice and gentle for your pelvis and your back. So sometimes having your left leg straight is actually straining for some people. So you do you. Experiment with both. Try both. Left leg straight. See what that feels like. Left foot on the ground. See what that feels like. Don't think more is more. Sometimes less is more. And so root up through your right foot, root down through your right hip. Feel the extension in your spine. We're going to cross your right leg to the left. Hold the strap in your left hand. You can do this with your knee bent. You just might need to clear, move your left foot a little further away from your pelvis if your knee is bent, so you can clear that leg in front of the knee. Drop the right hip away from your shoulder, stretch through your foot. Feel a little bit of an internal spiral of your thigh. Heavy, heavy head. That leg back up in the air. This time for sure bend your left foot. Put your right foot on your left knee and reverse your pigeon pose. We haven't done much of rotational work in our hip today, so just enjoy. Everything we've been doing has been in the flexion extension plane. So let's just take a moment to enjoy that rotation. Relax your head, breathe deeply. These either your legs both straight for a moment and breathe, or both feet on the floor and breathe. So whether you want your legs straight or bent, doesn't matter. Find a breath or two. Left knee into your chest. Wrap the strap around your left foot. Choose whether you want your right foot on the ground or your right leg on the ground. Okay, reach up through your left foot, root down through your left hip. Left femur bone back without hyperextending the knee. Notice if you tend to externally rotate your leg or internally rotate your leg. See if you can find neutral. Relax your head, soften your shoulders toward the ground. Feel that gentle softening of your spine. Open up your left leg over to the right. So hold on to the strap with your right hand, crossing the left leg over. Maybe the heel of your left hand is in the hip crease of your left hip. Notice again whether you tend to, kind of lose your foot, stretch all the way to your foot. And then instead of neutral, let's just ever so slightly find a little internal rotation of your left femur bone. Heavy head. Find your breath. And lift that leg up. This time take 2 feet in the strap. Feel that long extension in the spine. Maybe you want to flex and point with your toes here. Maybe you want to just be still. Heavy spine. Let your whole back rest. Let your head rest. Let your pelvis drop toward the ground. Feel that neutral elongation of the spine. And then knees into your chest. Finally, we get to bring our knees into your chest. You probably don't need it as much as you did. The feeling of wanting it after a back bend. That's my hope. And then anything you want to just prepare for Shavasana. If you want to go a little deeper into that forward bending, you can come into happy baby pose. You don't have to. And then take any support you need for Shavasana. You know, if you need some blankets or blocks or some bolsters under your knees, take that. Put your arms wherever you want them to be. Get comfortable, make sure your temperature is right, make sure the lighting is not, you know, intense on your eyes. Take anything you need for support. Notice that you might, I hope you feel a little bit better in your body than when we began. Maybe you feel a little bit better in your mind than when we began. Allow your breath to move through your body. Heavy head, heavy limbs. Soften your jaw. Then our breath. Feel your body rest. Melt one more time. Sometimes we only appreciate Shavasana when we just have 10 more seconds of it. So when you feel your body deeply melt, Once you're ready, invite any movement into your body that feels nice. Breathing well.
Sit when you feel comfortable. As we bring our hands together. Steep ourselves in gratitude one more time. Welcome in your blessings. And offer your blessings outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.